Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. If you're new, what's up? My name is Brandon. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. In today's video, I am going to be talking about one of my recent vacations that I took, and that was on the MSC cruise ship. I was on the Armonia Cruise, and let's just say it didn't go as I thought it was gonna go. So if you guys want to hear about my most recent trip, or one of my most recent trips, keep on. I do want to say before I get into this video, these statements that I'm going to make are based off of my personal experiences. It does not in any way reflect the MSC brand or what they intended on providing me and my two friends on the trip. But I'm just telling you guys what I experienced, what I saw, and just kind of give you a little bit of a why I don't think I'll be going on an MSC cruise, especially on that ship. So overall, I had a really good time. However, there was a few different things that really stuck out to me in the trip that I was like, okay, kind of weird. But if you guys don't agree with me, make sure you guys let me know in the comment section if you think I overreacted, or if you think that I should see it in a different light. I'd love to know your opinion as well. So make sure you guys comment and let me know. So it all started when we got to the Miami area and where the cruise ship docked and where you boarded onto the ship, okay? So we get in this long line where you have to check in and whatever. So the guy, when we first go up to the counter, just looked at us. Didn't really say anything. Didn't even say hello, nothing. I'm like, okay, this is weird, but maybe he's just having a rough day, whatever. So I kid you not, this guy's looking at us like we had 8 heads on, okay? And we were from a different planet. And I think now that I look back on it, I think he's like wondering like, holy shit, what are these 2 or 3 American people about to do on this cruise? Because it was quite the experience. So that was just very weird. And then you had some lady shouting, come on guys, you guys can do it. You guys are almost there, because she could tell we were already stressed. And it was just the weird to be yelled at, basically. I get it, she was trying to encourage us and whatever, but she was like literally yelling in our faces as soon as we got off of the escalator to go to the check-in area. So we get into, we finally get our cards and all our information, and we head towards where you boarded. And we got on the ship, whatever, no problem. We found our room, whatever, no problem. Everything was fine. The room was clean and the ship was clean. It was very nice for my first cruise ship. Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to rethink on how I want to make sure I do it in chronological order. So we get into the room, and then we have to do this like emergency meeting thing where you have to get your life vest and go to the muster station and do this, what I think would not prepare me at all for if emergency really did happen. I know they just had us put on the life vest, and that was pretty much it. Like, there was no like, oh, you guys like need to do this, or if something, an emergency, like I want to know, like, if I need to get off this cruise ship, what do I need to do? Okay, I know how to put on a life vest. Like, that is not what I need to be trained on. I need to be trained on other things, but they didn't really cover that. So I was kind of confused at that, but it literally took maybe 10 minutes. No big deal, because you had to wait for everybody to get out of their rooms and to their assigned muster station. And they had to scan you in. That process, they were very organized. Some of the things that stood out on the trip. Well, let me first off by saying we went to Jamaica, 8 Rios. We went to the Grand Cayman Islands. We went to the Bahamas, and we were also supposed to stop in Costa Maya, Mexico, but we did not, which was a little upsetting, but I get it for the reasons, and I'll get back to that when we get there. So our first day in 8 Rios, we did I forgot what excursion it was, but we got on this shuttle bus, and it took us to this nice little island where we got lunch and where we went into the water and was able to walk around and kind of just enjoy ourselves in Jamaica. And then after that, we were there for about 2.5 hours, and then we went on to this nature walk, and they took us to Kanoko Falls, I believe it's called, and it was very pretty. We got to see a bunch of different wildlife animals and stuff that they had on that mountain, and we had a tour guide that was very nice, and he was very friendly, was very knowledgeable about Jamaica. Obviously he lives there, but I was very impressed with that. I was kind of a little scared getting off the bus, to be completely honest, but we were fine. I had a great time. I got some great pictures. I'll make sure I put them up after this video. And then also, yeah, so we did that. I got to hold a parrot on my shoulder, which was really fun. Never did that before. Kind of scared. Kind of probably would not do it again. He weighed a lot. And then we went back to the cruise ship. So that was Ocho Rios Day 1. Okay, so day number 2 was the Grand Cayman Islands, and I think this was one of my favorite spots, and I wish we had enough time, and I think that would be my biggest concern or issue that I had with this particular stop. We got off the boat, and we immediately, if that's what it felt like, had to get right back on. We had only a couple hours there. We didn't even have enough time. We quickly went into a few gift shops, and then we stopped at a place to get like a quick snack, and it was like time to go back to the ship already. I felt like it was kind of pointless. I felt like there wasn't really enough time to do anything, even if you wanted to. So that's my biggest issue with that one. So if I ever go on a cruise ship, I want to make sure that if I'm going to the Cayman Islands, I want to really be able to do something. I'm not sure what they have to do there, but we didn't really get to do anything but go in gift shops, which was fine. I got a cute little shirt, but I would have liked to experience more a little bit about what they do on that island, and unfortunately did not. So I want to go over one of the issues that I had with MSC Armonia at that, and it was the food. The food was okay. They had a bunch of different stations and a bunch of different locations with food throughout the day, which was nice that they had a lot of variety. However, like the sit-down dinner at night wasn't really the best. I feel like they pulled this food from the buffet items that are available to you throughout the day, and also at night if you don't choose to go and sit down at the table, which was a little weird. I kind of expected it to be a little bit more fresh, better tasting, and it was just very weird. It was nice. We got to have a different setting when we were eating our dinner, which was nice, but the food wasn't all that great. Our waiter, shout out to Oscar, he was phenomenal, and also I forget who the drink person was, but he was also great. Didn't have an issue with them. They were friendly, they were nice, they stayed on top of us and what we wanted. My waiter let me get more than one meal because I didn't really like that one, or if I didn't like this one, he just kept letting me get different things. Sometimes double up. If I wanted 2 desserts, he let me have it. Kind of fun, kind of fresh. I also got to get a few drinks for free, which was nice because you're spending a lot of money on this cruise and doing other things, so it's kind of nice to get something for free, which I love. So that was nice. And also the restaurant was always clean. It was good. We got to sit with people that were our own age, which was also nice, and that spoke English. And also the one thing I want to say about MSC Armonia, one of my favorite experiences on this cruise was being able to see different cultures and kind of see everybody come together as one, which was phenomenal. I really love it. I think that would be probably one of the only reasons that would ever get me back on a cruise from MSC, was because we had like 7 or 8 different cultures come together as one, and we just had a good time. I partied sometimes by myself, but it was okay. And also we love an independent queen. And yeah, that was pretty much it. with the food. The food wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst that I've had. So the food was whatever. Yeah, and I'll be right back. Okay, so another issue that I had with this cruise ship was the customer service. The customer service was horrendous. The front desk people, guest services, or whatever you want to call them, and also the excursions desk. Now, you would think people in these positions are hired and are there to help you. However, it was the complete opposite. They caused more frustration, more confusion, and more anger. Like, it got to the point where I was literally in a screaming match with one of the receptionists. No customer service person should ever get to that point where they're physically screaming back and forth with you when they are wrong. I'm gonna go into the situation in detail, the situations, there was more than one, and then you guys can let me know if I was right or if MSC was right. But me, Jessie, who's my sister, and then my sister's friend Jocelyn, we each had our own personal issues with them. So I don't feel like it was us. I honestly felt like it was them, to be honest, because I'm a very reasonable person. I have a lot of customer service background and backgrounds from all different jobs. And I have never experienced something like this. So the first issue was I had an issue with my debit card that I gave them. Now, the lady processed it as a credit card when it's not, and was arguing with me that it was a credit card. And I said, no, it's really not. It's really a debit card, because I guess if you're a credit card, they require like you to put a certain amount on the card, and if it's a debit card, you're able to pick it. Well, I wanted to pick what I wanted to put on my card, not what they wanted me to pick. And she never gave me the option, and all of a sudden processed it before asking me any questions or anything. So I had an issue with that. And I was like, whatever. But she kept arguing with me that my card was in fact a credit card. And I said, ma'am, the 4 letters that you see on my card say debit. A debit requires a PIN. So that means you processed my card the wrong way. And she kept arguing with me that there was nothing that she could do. And I said, well, you need to do something, because you just released my money after I made a big deal about it. She took the funds that were taken off my card and released it into the banking world, and said that my funds wouldn't be released back onto my card until however many days she said. I think she said like 12 business days, which is absurd. And I said, no, that's not gonna work, because my debit card was the only card that I brought with me, and that's the money that I have for this trip, and also to pay you at the end for whatever I purchased. So now she released my money into banking limbo, and I had literally access to none of my money, because she literally took everything off of my card. I was like, you should have asked me how much you were taking, because I would have told you, hey, like that's like almost all the money that's on this card. She didn't ask anything. So it was very weird, and kept arguing with me to the point where I said, well, I need to speak to a supervisor, or I need to speak to somebody in your accounting department, because I know you have one here. And she kind of looked at me like I was kind of shocked that I knew that she had an accounting person on hand. And I was like, I am in banking before. I know how all this works. Like, you can do something about this. You just need to actually take the time and do it. This is your fault. You need to fix it if you guys want to get your money. So that was customer service issue number 1. Customer service issue number 2 had to do with the excursions desk, and it was just very weird. So like I said before, the stop in Costa Maya, Mexico was canceled due to unsafe conditions with the water. Totally fine. I love that they were taking our safety into consideration first. I applaud them for that. However, the guy that I spoke to refused to give the money back for the excursion. Okay, so in my mind, I'm like, okay, so The stop was canceled. You are not going to give my money back for the excursion that was paid for? That's a little confusing. I didn't get to do it, so where's my money? Because it's likely that we're going to use this money and apply it towards another excursion or something on board that we're going to have to pay for. So it's not like they weren't going to get their money back. But before that, we had just gone to the front desk and got a printout of what we purchased and what we spent on our cruise, just to make sure that the credits for the canceled excursions went on. So there was 3 on the paper, or there was supposed to be 3, but there was only 2 credits. The 3rd credit was not on there, and the guy was arguing with us that it was. No, it's really not. There's only 2 credits. The rest are debits. Now, mind you, going back to my banking world, a debit is when something is subtracted or taken away or charged to your account. A credit is something that is added on to your account. A credit, you are getting more money. You are getting a refund, whatever. There was only 2 of those on the statement. There were supposed to be 3. Continued to argue. He said, you have to come back in 20 minutes because there's nobody here that can they're on the island. Okay, fine. We come back in 20 minutes. We speak to somebody and she goes, oh, well, we'll be able to do this for you. And I'm like, why couldn't that other guy just say it? Like, it's clear on this paper that there was only 2 credits and there was supposed to have been a 3rd one. Like, why did we have to go through all this frustration and all this hassle and come back down here? Because it was in the middle of the ship. Or no, it was the excursions desk, yeah, it was in the middle of the ship and we were on the other side. So we had to come back after the fact, when he could have just said, hey, that was our mistake. We'll go ahead and make sure that a credit gets applied to you. We're so sorry that we couldn't stop and they couldn't enjoy it, but here's the credit and we hope that you book something else, something a customer service person would say. And he did not. So that was issue number 2. Issue number 3 has to do with our second to last night. We got this packet. Let me rewind. We got the itinerary for the day, and on one of the items in the morning was an optional, keyword here, optional, disembarking meeting. Okay, it's optional. We don't really have to go. And if we have a question, we can always ask. So I thought, and it should be pretty easy. You have to put your bags out at the night before. We read all the instructions. It was pretty simple. But I had a question about, I believe, the luggage tags they had dropped off. I don't really remember what it was, but it was a question about them. And I called the front desk, and the guy that answered was very rude. I said, hey, I have a quick question about the luggage tags that were dropped off and whatever. And he proceeds to tell me, are you ready for this? You might want to sit down. He proceeds to ask me if I went to the disembarking meeting that morning. I said, no, we had something else to do that morning. We kind of got up late. We're on vacation, We didn't want to get up that early to go to the meeting. We just figured we'd just call if we had any question. He proceeds to tell me that if I went to the meeting, I would have known. Are you joking? Stop it. I was so mortified and so, I didn't even know what to say. I literally took the phone and was like, are you speaking to me or are you talking to somebody else? And he was like, well, I am having a conversation with you, aren't I? I said, you're being rude and I don't deserve this. And he said, sir, I'm not being rude. I said, well, in America, it's actually rude. So wherever we are, it's probably still considered rude. The guy was American because I found out who he was. He was American. There is no reason to get that rude. Even if you're not American. I don't care what you are. That was rude. I don't care what anybody says. I was so confused. And I ended up hanging up on him because I was so angry. I thought I was going to come out of the room and choke the hell out of him. So that was issue number 3. I felt like we have more issues, but that one was like the top of the top. I'm trying to think of what else happened. Oh, the lighthouse show that debuted that night that we were there. 0 out of 10 stars, would not recommend. Honestly, it was embarrassing. All it was a lighthouse with some lights on it and some music. The music wasn't even going with the lights. I was so confused. Their MSC Reserved Island in the Bahamas is very gorgeous. The water is pretty. Only problem is there's a lot of rocks. We were constantly stepping on rocks in the water and boulders, like humongous boulders. Kind of not fun. It hurt our feet. Also, the people on the island, I remember at the snorkeling place on the one side, I feel like we were on Sunset Island. Those people where we got our snorkeling equipment from was so rude. Like, we didn't even want to get them, but we paid for them, so we wanted to make sure we got them. But the people in there were so rude, obviously not having a good time. Oh, which reminds me, the other issue that we had with the snorkeling trip. They told us when we got there that our excursion for snorkeling, everything was canceled except for the kayaking and everything was canceled except for kayaking and something else. So our excursion that we had picked out was the snorkeling and the shipwreck, and also the nighttime paddleboarding was apparently canceled. So when we got off the ship, we went to the info center on the island where they have the cruise staff come off of the boat. We asked them questions about it, and he confirms that yes, your excursions are canceled that you booked for today. Okay, so both of them, right? Yes. Are there any possibility that it will change? No, the weather's looking really bad, the water, this and that. They didn't really have an explanation because it didn't make sense that the kayaking in the water was still going on, but the snorkeling in the water was still not going on. But you could still go to the island and still pay $45 or $30, whatever it was, to buy snorkeling equipment or to rent snorkeling equipment and go in the water. That was the same. You could do that, but you couldn't do the excursion and go in the water and snorkel. It didn't really make any sense. That night we're done, the sunset had just set, and we go back to the cruise because at this point there was nothing really else to do on the island, so we thought, and we just went back to the cruise because there was really nobody out, like nobody. And so we go in, we get dressed, we shower, we get ready for dinner, and all of a sudden we go to the excursion desk because we just knew something was off, and she proceeds to tell us that our tour group for the excursion for the nighttime paddleboard is waiting for us. So we tell her, no, we were told this morning twice that it was canceled. And the guy that told us was standing right next to us. And he completely denies everything and denies telling us that, but we heard it over the loudspeaker and also heard it from his mouth. So we got the refund for that. We weren't playing around with them. I was like, no, we're not doing this. Give us the refund. No. So we eat dinner or whatever, and then all of a sudden we see this big old party on the island. We knew nothing about the party. It was like this luau. It looked fun, but we were already on the cruise ship. We were already changed. We were already there was no point in going out there. So we just stood on the deck and just watched it for a little bit. Didn't really look that good of a time anyways. So we still have fun. And also, I feel like that's it for the excursions. So I'll be right back. So every night we chose the second dinner option because if we were on the island or we were busy doing something, we didn't want to have to rush to get back and ready and to the dinner and be sat down at 5 o'clock because we just felt like that was just ridiculous. So we took the second dinner option, which always worked out in our favor because we weren't always that hungry because there was so much food throughout the day and we were constantly eating. So if you had the second dinner option, people went to the show. They always had a show at night in the theater, and it was based on the theme of the night. I had a couple issues with the show. Now, this has nothing to do with the performers, or maybe it does, but I wouldn't shade them too much on it, because you never know with performing on a boat and it rocking too much or whatever the case is. I really didn't care too much for the shows. I think my favorite one because the same cast did it Monday through Friday. My favorite show was Friday. It was Under the Abyss show. I think that the theming, the costumes, and the dancing was a little bit better that night than the rest of the nights. The shows were based off of like dancing, singing, aerialist, stuff like that. It was okay, nothing crazy. But I think the most entertaining show that I saw was the cruise staff show. That was pretty good. It was different than what we were seeing the rest of the week. I think that's why I liked it a little bit more. Some stuff that I would have changed with that, but I don't want to comment any criticism on people because they're hired to do that job, so I'm just gonna let them be. I have my own opinion, so I'm not going to shade somebody's talent, and just gonna leave it like that. Let's see what else. I do want to say MSC, they had always a lot going on, and I really want to give a shout out to like the entertainment staff, because they were always doing something. I felt like they were awake like 24 hours a day. It was crazy. They always had like bingo or some kind of dance or some kind of contest, and you always saw this person here, there, and I would go somewhere later that night and they were like in 3 different places. It was crazy. I felt like they were cloned, but shout out to them. That must be a hard job to be constantly doing stuff all day. Excuse me. They had a lot of fun things to do at night. We had the whiteout night where we got to go and dress in all white, and it was just kind of a good time. It was supposed to be out on the deck, but weather moved it inside. It was a little cramped, but it was still a good time. I had a really nice time. Also, the silent disco was amazing. I've never been to a silent disco. You essentially put on these headphones and you're picking the songs that are provided. And sorry, excuse me. Ew, I'm so gross. You put the headphones on and you're picking your own music and you're dancing to like your own music. So everybody's like dancing to like their own music, their own beat. It was hilarious. I have a video of, I don't think I have a video of myself doing it, but of like the whole thing. So if I can insert it, and if I can figure out how to insert it into this YouTube video, I will. But it was just such a good time. Yeah, they had a lot of fun things. Bingo, I almost won. I was 2 away from, so I only needed 1 number, but I would have got it the second time she called it, which was kind of whatever, because it was a lot of money, but whatever. The casino was a good time. I gambled a little bit. I made the money back that I put in, plus an extra $40, so I thought that was good. I know we went and saw a movie one night. It was okay. It was a movie. The chips that were bought were stale. Whatever. Oh my God, I totally forgot. Our first morning we woke up, we got room service, breakfast. Oh my God, that was horrendous. The milk was warm, hot. Warm is an understatement. It was hot for my cereal. Kind of not what I want to eat in the morning. I can't drink milk, or I'm not supposed to anyways, but I still do. So that was kind of like whatever. We asked for a chocolate chip muffin. I got an apple muffin. Kind of not the same. Our fruit platter was literally I was like, are you kidding? We were so damn hungry by the end of that breakfast, we went to the actual buffet anyways. It was kind of pointless. Good thing we didn't have to pay for it because that would have been an issue. Like, it was not okay. I feel like there was another issue with the food that we got during breakfast, and I can't really think of what it was. But it wasn't, oh my gosh, she wanted toast. Jasmine wanted toast, and she got a freaking dinner roll. She got a dinner roll as her toast. I can't even make this up. But yeah, overall, I think the experience was a good time. I've never been on a cruise before that, so I definitely saw things that I would have definitely liked to change, but I can't say that my overall trip was ruined, per se, because I still had a good time. I think the place that we visited, that we were gorgeous. I think we made the most of it. Unfortunately, we couldn't stop at one because of weather. Fine. I definitely want to try another cruise line to kind of compare it. I was thinking maybe Royal Caribbean or Princess Cruises. Sound off in the comment section below if you have any experience with any cruises, and if you have a suggestion on which one I should try. I would definitely like to hear your guys' opinion on that. But yeah, I personally would not go on the MSC Armonia again mainly because of the customer service issues. Like, if that's how you're going to treat your customers, I really don't want to support it, to be honest. And it's pretty sad because I probably would. Despite everything else, I probably would go on another MSC cruise, but I don't think that I can based off of what I experienced on my first one. First impressions is everything, guys. So that's that. And if they reach out to me and say, hey, we want to give you something for your troubles or whatever, I might consider it, but I won't be spending my money on that. I'd rather spend my money on something else. Ooh, I need to get a haircut. But yeah, thank you guys so much for supporting me. Thank you guys so much for supporting this whole idea that I have with YouTube. I know it might be kind of annoying to get the post and the tags and stuff or whatever, but it's going to help me, I promise. I really, 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 really appreciate everything that everybody does. They're sharing. You guys are sharing it. You guys are liking my stuff. You guys are commenting on my videos. You guys are actually creating some of the things that I have shown you guys. So that's kind of cool and interesting to see. Shout out to Christina. I love, love, love the bunnies. But yeah, this whole situation is new to me, and I hope that I'm continuing to grow and you guys are seeing the improvements and the growth I'm trying to get better. I'm not really sure what happened with the previous video, but I'm going to try to pick up with where I left off. But yeah, I'm trying to grow, and I am trying to learn the different editing options that I have and the two different softwares that I'm using. I'm trying to just become a better YouTuber, a better influencer, if you will. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you guys have any ideas for me. The next couple of videos I have lined up are going to be very fun, so I look forward to filming those. Thank you guys. I love you guys so much. Bye.